So this is what the dashboard looks like this. That same dashboard over here looks like this. So if these little groups over here, you can make them come in and out by touching this. And here's the order entry. We have this in the order processing group. If you come out here, you just click on the order processing group. And here's what's in the order processing group. If I click on this dashboard component, it loads. And it's doing a query out there in the background with my live data. Again, if I click this field, click here to sort, and here is 1031. So just looking at this dashboard for open orders, you can see it's an open order, and then you can see the line item on there just by clicking it. And you can drill down into it further if you want. So that's the dashboard. If we look at order management, so what can I do? So this might be out in the shop, but really people back in the front office are trying to get some work done. And if we come over here and look at order pick management, order pick management lives under the order group here. So if I look at order pick management, it is that component right there. Nice thing about these components is you can right mouse on them. You could say add it to Macola 10, or you can just say add it to my desktop. So maybe you want, somebody in the order processing group, Barry in the order processing just needs this component. You can give it to them just one component at a time. You don't have to have all this overhead here. The other thing you can do is create your own favorites. So I use this component quite a bit, order pick management. Here it is in my favorites group. So order pick management for me, this particular order here, you can see that I'm short on this order and I don't have any. There's nothing available, so I need to make some of those. Let's go over to my tablet for just a second. Now you're looking at my tablet, and what I'm going to do is go to the order status component. Maybe you're a sales rep, and this is laid out a little differently for mobile. So here I'm just going to type in 1031. And the nice thing is you don't even have to hit enter. Once you stop typing, it notices there's a lag and it just does the lookup. So here, this is a quick view with the order header information. I can see that it's still a booked order. It hasn't gone to a pick status yet. And I could drill down and go a little further if I wanted, but we'll come back to that in just a moment. Okay, so I need to take some action. And I'm going to look at this pop order advice screen. This is pretty handy. There's a filter over here. So I could filter maybe just on one specific location. I could filter on an item. These filters are flexible. So you just open up the tool set and you could add other common things that you'd like to filter on just to get a smaller subset of data. When I go out here and get my subset of data, now this particular component is designed to tell me what the shop should be making. And it looks at reorder quantities. It could be looking at low-level codes. It could be looking at stock on hand or allocations. But if I come over here and just start filtering, and I can see my packaging item right here, and it says I need to make 100. I need to make 100 because there's a demand for 100. And I can check that box. If I'm the planner, I could change this to 200, 300, 500, whatever I want. While I'm clicked on this row, I can also see if there's any material shortages or problems related to this. So now I'm drilling down into the bill of material, and I could look at the components needed to make this. So here it says, if I need to make 100, do I have enough material? So as on-hand quantity of 10,000, I only need 100. If there was something short right here, I could actually do a replenishment transaction. If it's a purchased item, it's going to create a PO. If it's a manufactured item, it would suggest I create another work order. And then you'd pick the vendor, and you could decide whether I want to release the order or make it unreleased and let somebody else deal with it. I don't need any, so I'm good to go. If there's more coming in, you can see available to promise down here. So with that checkbox right there, I'm going to go ahead and say click Create Order. And it should be calling that and creating it for me. And it's asking me what date do I want. Pick today's date. And I'm good. So let's go back over and we'll go to another component. We'll just open one up in POP. I'll open up the console. And now that I've opened that up, I want to look at POP orders. I can sort them. And here's the POP order that was just created. You can see that it's already been released. So you can look here quickly. What are my released POP orders? What are my unreleased POP orders? What are my in-process POP orders? Things like that. Very quick. Once I'm here, I could actually view the order and things like that. Sometimes it's important, you may want to do a substitute. You can add a component. You might want to come in here and add a component to your POP order that you might not have added, or maybe you're going to do a substitute. It's a quick way to do that. And so now that our order is there, we're ready to go. It's completely released. I'm going to use the handheld, and we're going to come back, and I'll do the click the back button, and we're going to go to production. And in production, okay, come on. Here we go, production. Web production. So I'm going to do this web production. Just clicking some buttons to get going. So I'm out in the shop. I have this up and running. And I want to touch this spot. And it's touchy. So I'm going to just sort those. So there's my Oreos. And I'm going to come in and say that I'm going to produce 100. And again, if it's binned or lotted, I'd have to make those choices also. And when I'm done, I click the wrench and I say produce. So I'm using the mobile device out in the shop, walking around, or I'm at my work center doing my work, doing the production. What's happening behind the scenes is it's actually calling a business object that WiSys has produced. to do the transaction. So all that heavy lifting is done behind the scenes. I'm going to leave that here for just a second. And let's come back to, let's go look at the console again. And in the console, we can just leave this up. There's always the choice here to refresh a grid. So when I refresh the grid, you can see here that the quantity for that order, which is 1031, nope, excuse me, that's 392, and get rid of that. So you can see here now it's in process, and the quantity was 0 on hand, and now I have 100. So in this particular case, I've taken the easy way out today, and I'm back flushing all my material with that transaction. So now that I've produced 100, if I come back to order management, and I want to look at that, I'll refresh the screen again, and we'll look at sales order, 1031, right here. And now there is a quantity available of 100 to fill a back order. So I can literally just sit right here and I can say, fill all available back orders. And what that's going to do is it's going to march down every row on this list, filling every order based on quantities available, even production or purchase orders that have come in where items could be available, and it's going to fill all those items. You can imagine doing that all by hand. It would take more than the time that you've just seen. So now it knows that there's 100 to fill. I'm going to click this button and I'm going to say print my pick ticket. I want 2 copies of this pick ticket. So here's copy number 1. And I'm going to get 2 copies. They're a little different, 2 different crystal reports. And I print those off. Yep, it printed fine. Okay, so now what are we going to do? Now we need to ship this product. We're going to go work on the handheld again. And let's go back out into the warehouse and go back. And go to order processing. There we go. And we're going to do some confirm shipping. So I just touched the confirm shipment button. And it's coming back with a list of things that could be confirmed shipped. So our order number that we want to work on, 1031. And I could turn the thing sideways and have more column of data. So I need to do this again, 1031. But I've told my tablet that I like to keep it in this view. So out here, the quantity to ship is 100 right there. And so I'm just going to come back, click the checkbox, click the wrench, click confirm ship. Click it harder. Don't forget, if you have some questions, please stick them in the sidebar. That's always a great thing to have at the end of the session. Now you can see, get a little feedback up here that one row was processed. So let's go back again to the front office where people are working away. So here we are, and we're looking at the order billing screen. I'm going to refresh the data because things are always happening in the shop. And all of these orders are at status 7. So these are all the orders that I've been working on and are ready to go through the billing and invoicing process. So the way I have it set up is for convenience. I'm going to do the order billing. And it says this batch, I could just do one or all of them. It says, do you want to invoice at the same time? Well, once you get comfortable with WiSys, you're probably going to want to go faster. And if you've done all the work, then billing is a snap, and you can just go directly to invoicing too. So we're going to go ahead and invoice. Lots of people do this for invoicing. Now this is a crystal invoice that you can use. A lot of customers use Knowledge Sync or the event manager to be able to send out their invoices electronically. So you may not have to use this step if you don't want to. And we'll get one more, and we're done. So if we go back over here to the order processing dashboard and do a refresh here, we should have our order invoiced. Here's our Oreos right there, are now at the invoice status. So that's pretty handy. And then out in the field, if our sales rep wants to do order status again to check on the status of their order, we're going to type in there 1031. And you can see here now that is at the printed status. And if you drill down a little further, you can see different pieces of information and quantities shipped and that sort of thing.